Hello, hello everyone and welcome to this video. Today I'm introducing something that is completely new. It's an application that I've done from scratch about doing some deep regression on data and can predict complex equations. So what do I mean by complex equations? Let's just say imagine that you have a data, and this data is uh, is full of some columns, and these columns have of course some values. I'm sorry. I'm very bad with writing. Okay. And wherever is this the data, and this is just the output, and you want an equation that can make you that takes or receives these inputs and it just and give you this output. It's just one equation. Let's say that this is the equation x1 plus x2. Okay, and let's make the output is like y. What if this equation was a little bit complicated, like y equal to x1 plus 3 x2? Okay, so it is much this is more complicated, and there is some parameters here. What if also it was 2 x1 to power 2 plus 3 x2 to power 3, for example? Okay, this is more complicated. Okay, what if what if it was something like this? Okay, what if it was something like this: 2 times x1 to power 2 times by x2 to power 3, and let's say minus x1 to power 4, for example. Okay, this form is more complex than this one because it has some timed variables, and each variable has a power. What if these powers has become something like 4.5, 2.1, 3.05? Okay, now it's more complicated because these powers are now real powers, not just the integer powers. I don't. It will be much complicated if these terms are more, and if we have more variables. If we have some different signs like negative values and positive ones, negative power, positive powers, and so on. So the final form is what my program is dealing with. My program is designed to predict these complex forms. So let's say the application, and of course you might wonder why, if there that maybe there is some applications that can do this operation, but what if my program does the same? No, I just search it on the internet, and in many programs, and in Excel and MATLAB and some other statistical algorithm, and I did not find any program or any application that can predict or can deal with this complex equation. It just does something from anything of this. And most programs I found is just dealing with it's either linear equations or equation with integer values, not and variables are not timed, and I did not find any program really that can do this. So and if you do regression or you work with something similar to it, you might I think you will agree with me with this point. Okay, let's see the program and prove its ability to do such a thing. Okay, now here is my application. Okay, I've just created some sample data that to test the ability of my application. So and let's see. Let's deal with the first data, which is very simple data. And this so I imported the input data, and now I need to import the output data. Okay, now this is the input data and this is the output data. It's just a data with two columns. Well, the first column is I, and the second column is 1 to 1 or 1 to power I. So the problem here is that this equation is exponential, so I just added a column that is exponential. In reality, the equation is not dealing with 1.01, but I just pass it's just a column that deal with exponential values, because I did not add this feature in the application yet, but I will do it in the features that can do with exponential values automatically. So until now you need to import this manually in the data. Okay, let's say number of terms is 3, arithmetic accuracy is 98. Let's press none. Unlock. We have we have reached the accuracy that we need, 98.6, and it didn't take almost any time because it was very fast. What if I want to make it more hard to reach a more accuracy? Okay, I need just to. Okay, I think this should be it, and I'll tell you how to deal with these settings. Okay, now I need to modify step accuracy so I let the program to run in different target. Okay, let's say this is the accuracy that I want, 99.9%, very high accuracy. Let's say, and let's press resume all series. Okay, we have reached this accuracy. It didn't take any time, just very fast. It's because we are dealing with very simple data, just two variables, and the data is not too much. It's 100 rows. Okay, and of course I'll go through more complicated data. Okay, let's press analysis and see what we have done. Okay, this is a question. This application of reached. You can see that it's formed with real powers, as I told you. It's 2.1993 and 1.53, and also there is some negative values, and these are the three terms as I ordered the application to do. And you have here the data and the accuracy of the equation predict. You can say that we have very high accuracy in most every part of the data, except the final part. Okay, so we have an accuracy that exceeds 99% for all the data. Okay, let's deal with something more complicated than this, when we have more variables and the equation becomes more complicated. And before doing it, I'll just tell you, I show you what to do if the application just stopped or you exited it without saving this data. And let's see this point. Okay, I close the application. Let's see what can I do to restore my project. Okay, what I need to do is just press restore previous project, and look, we have got everything. Also we have got the settings, everything, and we've got the equation. Okay, what if I want to see the equation written like here, but to just to copy it, and just press show equation, and you can also show it in Excel format, so you can put it in Excel and apply the equation. If you of course don't trust the application and think that it's just faking the equation, you can test it with Excel. Okay, let's deal with different type of data. Okay, now I'll just go for this input. It's a data will shock you with its complexity. It's formed with 7 variables and one single input output, of course. Okay, uh, and let's make it our step accuracy is 98%. Now this data is much is more harder than is very harder than the previous one. It's 7 variables. Okay, and it has more rows. Okay, let's press run and see what we can do. Okay, we have begun with 12% and it's increasing. Now let's use this time to introduce more about the application. You find that we have a lot of threads. Every thread has an ID, of course. Because I managed to work with 10 threads. So working with threads is depending on your computer. My computer processor is Core i7, so I can work with 10 threads, but the application is very heavy on the processor. So make sure that you use the number of threads that is suitable to your computer. For me, I cannot add one more thread. If I make it 11 threads, the application might stop, because this is the maximum abilities that I can do with my computer. Um, Here you'll find that each thread has different accuracy. Like some thread, this thread, for example, has found 81%, 88 different accuracies, and the best one is this thread. And we will find that there is something called the best equation and live equation. Live equation uh, is that he is testing some different possibilities, and when he finds a one that is better than the best, it sets it. So a live equation might be 89%, but the best one is 93, and so on. Okay, the application stopped because we've reached 98.1%, which is more than we wanted, which is 98%. So so what? Okay. What if I am here in some random thread, I want to reach the best thread by just one click. Just to press sure thread, and will take you to the best thread. Okay. What about these settings? So the first one is simple data length. Simple data length is dealing with the data that goes through each step. So doing some steps, and each step we take a random sample from the data and train the equation for it. It is C analysis, and I think it might be more easier to understand. Uh, if you look at the data, you'll find it that it's 500 rows, very big data, uh, or at least a big one. So of course I'm not going to run it trains that equation on 500 rows per step. That will make the application a little bit slow, and well, it's in time, sometimes it freezes the equation, and any single change in any power makes the the equation gets more gets a lower accuracy, so you cannot do it. It's something that's very deep to discuss it now. But what I'm trying to say that simple data length must should be lower than the the real data length. It will help you to make the application much faster and anything. Okay, you have also maximum power and minimum power. It's just some things that you'd say. I don't want my equation to contain a power that more than 4 or lower than -4. Your equation, the equation might contain the power that is 4 and might contain the power that is much less than 4. So you're just setting up the range. So choose this carefully because sometimes you might reach some accuracy and you cannot exceed it because you've set its maximum power to some limited, and the equation needs to reach a bigger power. Um, there is also something called term limit. It's like this term, for example, has 0.28 times y x3 to power something. So this part should not exceed 100. So I don't want to find any part of my equations that contains terms that values that is higher than 100. And there is something with opposite of it. It's called the break limit. Is used to make to make the equation that any part of the equation that should not be lower than 0.05 by negative or positive, and doesn't matter. So this helps the application to work with all terms and not neglect any term. And also here there is digits view. You use it just to overview the equation. Now let's say the equation is is very complicated, and you might simplify it through just two digits. Yeah, now we have it, just two digits. Um, some other things I prefer to discuss about it in some other videos because it's more complicated and more advanced to discuss now. And now let's see what if I can reach an accuracy that is higher than this. I'll just set stop accuracy to 99.99%. Really, this is very hard accuracy to reach. Let's say resume our settings. Okay, now we'll find that our best accuracy is still here. There is okay, it started to rise. Sometimes the application stops, and because when you reach is high accuracy, it's very hard to increase the accuracy. It becomes harder and harder by when you basically very closer to the 100% accuracy. One last point I want to say is that this data is a mathematical data. I've created the equation and applied the application on it, and created the data standing from this equation. So do not expect to get 99.99% accuracy with the natural data. Of course, it will not happen because there must be some errors in natural data because the nature is very complicated. Something is some parameters you might not include in your data. Some errors might be from the guy who was importing the data to the computer, as the devices accuracy, everything makes the natural data very hard to reach a high accuracy. So what I'm trying to do here is to make you look at the power of the application, that it can reach a very high accuracy with a complex equation. Let's look have a quick look about the equation we've reached. Okay, it might be a little bit simple, to you, but if you look at it, you look at it, you will find that it's very complicated. You have some variables times by themselves, and each variable has some power. There is some terms. uh, if you can look at this term and this term, you'll find that it's very hard to find these terms. This term is plus 2 to x1 to power 3 times by 5 to power 2.5, and this term is negative 2 times by x3 times by x2 to power 0.5. Do you understand? It has the same term value, but and also there is a common variable, but the another variable is different. That's what I'm trying to say. So these terms are very complicated to find, because some one of them is increasing the output and the another one is decreasing it. Also there is more data here. Let's have a look about this. So this is eight columns, uh, and it's much complicated, and this also is 8 columns, but a more complicated equation. And this is equations of the data. I'll leave you a link with the sample data if you want to test the application on it. um, Here you will find that the first input is very simple, and talk about zero point 0.4 seconds to reach 99.98% accuracy. The second one took about 7 minutes. For us, we are luckier, because, or not luckier, it was in a version that's a little bit older than the one we working on. After I got these equations, I installed some enhancers to the application, so it become more faster. And it's about 99.99% accuracy. It's on seven variables. As you can see here, there is x7. Here we have 8 variables, and we have 7 terms. Okay, never forget to 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 to, to, uh, to select the best uh, terms numbers, and you can find it by some kind of experiment. The experience, you just test the data on some term and see if you reach a high accuracy. If you are not convinced with this accuracy, you might change the term numbers, might be more or lower. uh, you can just do it as you like. Okay. The final one is the most complicated data. It's uh, it's also 8 variables, but more complicated equation. You can see that this is the original equation. Oh, the previous equation also is 8 variables, but this was 8 variables but more complicated. You will find that it took 10 minutes time, because I just working with the same version you will find in the equation, in the description. So it did not take a lot of time. In normal case, it was taking around 20 minutes or more, sometimes more than 25 minutes. uh, so I just worked a lot on the application and increased its efficiency. uh, Unfortunately, the application you will download, it's just a free trial. You need to activate this application with a license, because sorry, I worked a lot on the application. It's been a month now working on this application. I've done a lot of work, so I just need something that encouraged me to work more and do some other stuffs. So you'll find in the about tab two things: subscription. when you call me, and I create a subscription license for you. And there is about me and the product. You'll find here some information about contacting me, an email if you want to contact me. There is also WhatsApp and phone. You can contact me, and I'll tell you how to activate and I'll give you a license to activate the program. uh, you will find the application in the description. It will work with free trial version. With free trial, you have some limitations. It will work with you for 7 days, and you cannot work with more than 3 variables in inputs and more than 400 rows. So see you guys. If you like the application, you can contact me. If you don't, if you also like it, but know someone that might benefits from it, please share this video. You can also subscribe to my channel to follow anything you. Thank you.